So Ukraine is on the offensive again. Yeah, I don't know what this means. I don't know if they're actually turning the tides on this Russia-Ukraine war, or if this is just a little bit of smoke. Let me read this article. This is CNN, so it's the Clown News Network. So you take it with a grain of salt. I'm sure they'll pepper this up with their own rhetoric, but let's see what they say. Putin vows to kick enemy out of Russia as Ukraine's cross-border incursion expands to dozens of villages. Got a picture here, of course, showing a whatever, I don't know, stock photo of something blown up, I guess. Russian President Vladimir Putin promised to kick the enemy out of his country's territory after it emerged that Ukrainian troops were in control of dozens of Russian villages and large swaths of land a week into Kiev's surprise cross-border incursion. The scale of the incursion became clearer on Monday when Putin held a meeting with local officials from the border regions as well as some of Russia's top security, government, and law enforcement personnel. The acting head of the Kursk region, I'm going to butcher some of these Russian names, so I apologize in advance, but Alexei Smirnov, no relation to the vodka makers, told Putin that the 28 settlements in his region were now under Ukrainian control, adding that Ukrainian troops had managed to advance some 7.5 miles or 12 kilometers into the territory across a 25-mile or 40-kilometer wide stretch of the border. So they advanced into a pretty decent amount of space, but I don't know if these are, in any way militaristically relevant. I don't know. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian military chief, Alexander Syrsky, said on Monday that some 386 square miles or 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory were now under Ukrainian control. That's a pretty big footprint. So I don't know if this is real or not. Like I said, if it's relevant or not, I'm not sure. Putin said the incursion was an attempt by Ukraine to improve its negotiation position. But what kind of negotiations can we even talk about with people who indiscriminately strike at civilians, at civilian infrastructure, or try to create threats to nuclear power facilities? What can we even talk about with them? It's funny. So I'm going to play the middle ground here. It's funny in the fog of war how one side will say that when it suits them. I'm sure Putin's done some stupid stuff on his side, and I'm sure Ukraine's doing stupid shit on their side. It's war. So it's like I get into a fight with a guy and I punch him in the face, and then I'm punching him in the face a few times, and suddenly he grabs some sand and throws it in my eyes. And he's like, and I'm like, you threw sand in my eyes. We're fighting. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know what? Yeah, you should try and avoid civilians, but at the same time, how are you going to completely? This isn't the most advanced warfare or the most advanced weapons out there either. So some of that's going to happen. And like I said, I'm sure Putin's done it on his side. So it's just funny that they use that when they want to support themselves. CNN can't independently verify Putin's claims that Ukraine has struck civilians in the incursion. Oh, this is funny. I pre-read this a little bit before. Where watch, they say that they can't verify that, but watch the end of this paragraph here. Over the course of the war, Russia has been repeatedly accused of targeting Ukrainian civilians and civilian infrastructure by Kiev. Its Western allies and its international bodies, including the International Criminal Court and the United Nations, Russia has denied the accusations despite evidence. Notice how one, we can't confirm that at all. The other one, despite evidence. What evidence? You gonna cite any of it? No, just say despite evidence, and then just leave it at that. That's simple enough. Somebody read that and go, oh, they have evidence. Cool, I believe you. I don't believe you. Putin went on to tell his security chiefs to expel the Ukrainian forces. The main task is certainly before the Ministry of Defense to squeeze out, knock out the enemy from our territories, and together with the Border Guard Service, ensure reliable protection of the state border. The Ukrainian advances have sparked a large wave of evacuations from the border regions. Smirnov said 180,000 people have been told to evacuate and that 121,000 have left already. Gladkov, the governor of the neighboring Belgorod region in southern Russia, said people living in the, I'm not even going to try that word. All right, I'll try it. Krasnoyaruski, maybe I said it right, I don't know, District were being moved to safer places. We're having a disturbing morning. Enemies' activities on the border of, they're trying to make me say the word again, district. I am sure that our military will do everything to cope with this threat, but to protect the life and the health of our people, we are beginning to relocate people who live in the, they keep dropping the word, the K-land district to safer places, he said in a statement posted on his official Telegram channel. About 11,000 residents from the K-word district were evacuated, and the head of the district administration, Miskov, said later. That word messed me up. So yeah, I'm not gonna read any more of this. It's gonna be, it goes into a little bit more obviously, but it's gonna be a lot of narrative driven shit because it's CNN. But point is, looks like Ukraine is on the offensive a little bit. They've been on the defensive for a little while. If you're following this war at all, it's not really being talked about as much because it's not. It's the old hat. They don't really care that much to talk about it. But this, I don't know if this is a real thing or not. If this is actually Ukraine being on the offensive, or if this is actually what Putin's saying, just a tactic to be able to negotiate later for territory or whatever, because maybe they sense this war is coming to an end, which I hope so. I just hope that it's a favorable end for both, which probably not. Usually doesn't happen in war anyway.